wind down tonight with a journey a little closer to home. Our planet Earth, but not the Earth you woke up on today. The one we're visiting tonight is younger, wilder, a little more dramatic. You see, long before Earth became a home for trees, turtles, tick-tocks, and taxes, it was chaos, explosions, collisions, endless heat, oceans made of lava, not water. Tonight, in the soft glow of imagination and with the gentle crackle of the fireplace, we'll travel through the long, slow, utterly fascinating story of Earth, from its fiery formation to the quiet birth of life, from ancient seas to colliding continents, from dinosaurs to glaciers, and eventually to you. If you're listening from bed, welcome. Please comment where you are tuning in from tonight. I love knowing I am reaching all around the world. Whether you're in a high-rise apartment or a quiet countryside cabin, I'm glad you're here. If you enjoy falling asleep to these stories, do like the video. It really helps me keep the fireplace burning. And if you want more tales from the past to lull you to sleep, feel free to subscribe to the Velvet Scrolls. We whisper stories from the shadows of history and the edges of science, just loud enough to carry you off to dreamland. So settle in, breathe deeply, let the day melt away, because this is the story of Earth. To understand Earth, we have to go back, way back, before the moon, before oceans, before oxygen, before Earth itself. Roughly 4.6 billion years ago, a cloud of dust and gas, what scientists call a solar nebula, was floating through space, just drifting, quietly, until something shifted. Maybe a nearby star exploded, sending a shockwave rippling through the cloud, and suddenly gravity took over. The dust began to pull together, spin, flatten, clump. At the center of all this motion, something huge began to form. Our sun, hot, bright, and impossibly massive. It lit up, and the solar system was born. But around that newborn sun, other things were happening. Pieces of rock and ice started colliding, sometimes gently, sometimes violently. Each collision created bigger and bigger clumps, what astronomers call planetesimals, and in one particular orbit, one of these clumps began to grow very large. That was Earth. At first, it wasn't a planet the way we think of one. It was a ball of molten rock, seething and swirling in darkness, with no air to breathe, no oceans to swim in, and no continents to stand on. Then came an event so colossal, it's hard to even picture. A Mars-sized object, called Theia, crashed into baby Earth. The impact was so intense that it blasted molten rock into orbit, and that debris, it gathered, merged, and over time, it became something else you might have seen in the night sky. The moon. Yes, our moon was likely born from an ancient, apocalyptic crash. And thanks to it, Earth began to stabilize. Its tilt, its tides, its rhythm. But Earth itself was still molten. The surface bubbled with lava. Volcanoes raged without end. Comets and asteroids slammed down regularly, like cosmic cannonballs. Then something remarkable happened. The surface began to cool. A crust formed, not the kind you'd want on pizza. This one cracked easily. Beneath it, the planet still seethed with heat, but above, it was changing. Water arrived, maybe from icy comets. Maybe it was already here, locked in minerals. Either way, over millions of years, oceans began to fill. Rain fell, steam hissed into clouds. Earth began to wear a very thin, very fragile coat of blue. Still no life, still no oxygen. But now Earth had air, water, and a heartbeat, of sorts. With its molten core turning and spinning, Earth developed a magnetic field, one that would shield it, eventually, from deadly solar radiation. This was the Hadean Eon, named after Hades, because Earth, at that time, really was hellish. But even in hell, things were beginning to change. The stage was being set for life. Let's go deeper. Beneath your cozy blanket, beneath the floorboards and soil, beyond the roots of trees and buried fossils, Earth is layered like an ancient cake, a hot, slow-moving, quietly rumbling cake. And tonight, we're going to drift downward, slowly, safely, one sleepy layer at a time. We start with the crust. This is the part we live on, thin, like the skin of an apple. If Earth were a peach, the crust would be barely thicker than the fuzz. But it's everything we know: oceans, continents, highways, hiking trails, cities, ruins, rainforests. The crust floats on something deeper, something hotter. Welcome to the mantle. Here, the rock is solid, but also not. It flows, very slowly, like hot caramel that's forgotten how to hurry. It's 2,900 kilometers thick and makes up 84% of Earth's volume. That's a lot of hot rock. This is where tectonic plates ride like rafts on slow rivers of magma. Sometimes those rivers rise, crack the crust, and pour out as volcanoes. It's the mantle's gentle glacial churn that moves continents, lifts mountains, and reshapes the planet over millions of years. All beneath our feet, silently, patiently, deeper still, the outer core. Now things get molten. This layer is liquid metal, mostly iron and nickel, churning and spinning in currents that would melt through anything from above. But this movement does more than make heat. It generates Earth's magnetic field, the invisible force that shields us from solar radiation. Without it, life might not exist. Birds navigate by it. Whales follow it. Even some bacteria align to it. And you're wrapped in its protection right now. Your phone might not even realize it, but your body knows it's safe here, held by a planet that spins and shields. Finally, at the center of it all, the inner core, solid, dense, hotter than the surface of the sun. We've never seen it, never touched it, but we know it's there. An iron heart beating slowly in the center of our world, about the size of the moon, solid from the crushing pressure, and slowly growing as the liquid outer core freezes against it. It's strange to think, but right now, as you lie still, the very center of the planet is crystallizing, drop by drop. Earth isn't just rock and heat, it's movement, shielding, growth. So if your thoughts are still spinning, let them drift downward, past rooftops, past roots, past fossils. Let them slow with the flow of the mantle, spin with the liquid outer core, and settle quietly at the center. Your heartbeat and the Earth's two rhythms, one, sleep. Now that Earth had land, oceans, and atmosphere, it was time for life to make its quiet entrance. It didn't start with roars or stomps or even wiggling worms. It started small, very small. So small you'd miss it even if you squinted. Microscopic cells, swimming through the shallow seas over 3.5 billion years ago. These little life forms didn't breathe oxygen. They didn't eat anything we'd recognize. Some of them fed on chemicals like sulfur or iron. They were single-celled bacteria, mostly, but they were the pioneers. Like cosmic squatters, they set up shop in warm underwater vents and tide pools. One group of early bacteria did something extraordinary. They learned to harness sunlight, cyanobacteria, photosynthesis, a mouthful of a word. But the idea is simple. Light in, oxygen out. Earth's atmosphere, once a murky stew of volcanic gases, slowly began to change. And here's the twist. That oxygen, it caused a mass extinction. The Great Oxygenation Event. Life had poisoned itself. Many ancient microbes couldn't handle the new air and vanished. But for those who adapted, oxygen was rocket fuel. Multicellular organisms evolved. Blobs of cells cooperating, sharing resources. Tiny worms, jellyfish-like creatures. Soft-bodied life that slipped through the sea like whispered dreams. Skip forward a few 100 million years and life really starts showing off. The Cambrian explosion. About 540 million years ago, evolution cranked up the volume. Suddenly, we have creatures with legs, eyes, shells, teeth. Trilobites scuttled on the seafloor. Anomalocaris, a strange shrimp-lobster monster, hunted in open water. Sponges, sea lilies, armored fish. Still no trees, no grass, just shallow seas and ancient coral reefs. Then came plants. Mosses crept onto land. Ferns grew tall. Insects followed, wingless crawling. Eventually they learned to fly. Forests rose. Swamps spread. Amphibians, creatures that lived in water and on land, paved the way for reptiles. And then dinosaurs. For over 160 million years, dinosaurs ruled the earth. Some were as small as chickens. Others weighed as much as a plane. Some had feathers. Some had armor. They weren't just monsters. They were creatures adapted perfectly to their time. Warm-blooded, fast-moving, with sharp senses and sharper claws. They roamed Pangaea, a single supercontinent. They survived volcanic eruptions, shifting climates, and predator-prey arms races. Sauropods with necks like cranes. Raptors with brains that suggested a flicker of cleverness. And then, just like that, a rock fell from the sky. 65 million years ago, a 6-mile-wide asteroid slammed into what's now Mexico. The impact was 1,000,000 times more powerful than any bomb humanity has ever built. Fires raged, the sky darkened, plants died, ecosystems collapsed, and the age of dinosaurs ended. But it wasn't the end for Earth. It was just time for the next chapter. One with mammals, and eventually us. But we'll get there. For now, let your thoughts drift with the trilobites. Let your mind swim through ancient seas and bask in the quiet, prehistoric sun and breathe easy. Earth has seen worse. When the dust settled after the great asteroid strike, the Earth was quiet. The towering dinosaurs were gone. The seas had calmed. The skies, once darkened by ash, slowly cleared. What remained was opportunity. In this new, quieter world, the smaller creatures thrived. Birds, insects, and especially mammals. These furry little survivors, once scurrying in the shadows beneath the feet of dinosaurs, now began to stretch, grow, and evolve. At first, they were still small, shrew-like, squirrel-sized, cautious, but they were warm-blooded and adaptable. They didn't need to lay eggs. They nursed their young. They were curious, patient. Over time, they grew. Hoofed creatures began to appear. Tiny primates swung through trees. Some mammals took to the water. Early ancestors of whales and dolphins. Others became giants, mammoths, mastodons, saber-toothed cats. Forests expanded. Grasses began to cover the land. Earth's climate shifted, cooled, warmed again. Continents drifted into the shapes we recognize today. Africa, Europe, Asia, slowly carving their outlines in the great puzzle of plate tectonics. And somewhere in this vast unfolding of time, on the grassy plains of eastern Africa, something extraordinary began to stir. A species of upright ape, walking on two legs, using tools made from stone. They were not yet human, but they were close, painted in caves. They migrated out of Africa, across Europe, into Asia, and eventually to every corner of the earth. They learned to work together, to farm, to build, to tell stories, and from this slow progression came Homo sapiens, modern humans. Just a few 100,000 years ago, we appeared. A blink in Earth's long timeline. We built villages, then cities. We invented the wheel, writing, religion. We studied the stars and mapped the oceans. We created languages, music, mathematics. We became curious, not just about how to survive, but about why we exist. And yet, for all our inventions and ideas, we remain part of Earth. Just one thread in its vast, quiet tapestry. Tonight, as you drift to sleep, imagine that long journey, from tiny mammal to wanderer, to builder, to dreamer. The earth has been our cradle, our home, and our companion through it all, and it still turns, quietly, beneath you. Now we slow everything down. The fires of Earth's formation are long gone. The mammoths have vanished. The cities hum quietly beneath satellites. And somewhere, right now, the earth spins gently under your pillow. It's night. The sun has dipped below your horizon, and Earth's shadow has swept gently across your part of the sky. From space, our planet looks peaceful, a blue and white marble turning silently through the dark. No engine noise, no traffic, just swirling clouds. Ice caps that glow faintly in the moonlight. Forests sleeping in shadow. Waves moving like breath. Cities twinkle, but even they rest. Lights flicker off in apartments. Radios click quiet. Somewhere, a dog is snoring. A street sweeper hums down an empty road. The world is slowing down. And the earth, it doesn't rush, it doesn't worry, it just spins. The tides rise and fall like they always have. Winds drift gently across deserts. In jungles, frogs sing to each other. In oceans, whales dream. Above it all, the stars hang motionless, distant suns from billions of years ago, shining softly on our blue home. You are lying on one tiny patch of this vast, ancient world. Your breath rises and falls. Your body sinks deeper into the bed. The air feels cool, the sheets soft. You are part of Earth's rhythm now, part of its gravity, its silence, its story. There's nothing more to do, no battles to fight, no questions to answer, just you and the planet that holds you. Sleep is near. Let it come. Let your mind drift through forests, over mountains, across ancient seas. Let the pulse of the earth guide you, slow, steady, timeless. And know that no matter where you are, in a city or a valley, in the warmth of a bedroom or beneath a sky full of stars, the earth is turning gently, carrying you forward into a new day. But for now, it's night, and you can rest. And now, we return, back from the stars, from deep beneath the crust, from ancient forests and silent glaciers, back to the present, back to you. Earth is still spinning, ever so slowly, beneath your resting body. The winds still whisper through the trees. Rivers still carve their quiet paths. The inner core still beats with molten warmth. But none of it is in a rush. Not tonight. Because tonight, the world doesn't need you to think, or move, or plan. It just asks you to rest, to float in the rhythm of the planet, to feel the soft gravity of sleep pulling gently at your eyelids, to let the long memory of Earth cradle you like it has cradled all who came before. You've listened to a story older than cities, older than empires, older than sleep itself. And now it's your turn to join it. So breathe in and out. The Earth is here. You are here. And sleepy time has finally arrived. Good night to everyone. Now let's hear that fireplace crackle.